Hello, I am the Traveling Hatter, and today we're going to talk about inside rooms on Cunard cruise ships, specifically the Victoria, the Elizabeth. On all of these ships, we'll talk about the inside rooms and the amenities they offer. Also, the Queen Mary 2 and the newest ship of the Cunard line, the Queen Anne. I had the privilege to fly over the Queen Elizabeth at the Great Barrier Reef last year. Feel free to look at the video that I created about it. And now we've looked at the ships, and now let's talk about the rooms. Cunard has several options for cabins on their cruise ships. I typically choose the standard inside room. You're not guaranteed a particular room, only a room. Gary Bembridge of Tips for Travelers always recommends selecting a particular room so you know you're not underneath the dance floor or something like that. But I just have let them assign me a room and I've had no problems. One thing that will throw several people off is that these rooms have no windows, so you have no sense of time due to light. But if that's not a problem, these rooms can save you a lot of money. First, the Victoria. Here is the door. Notice the envelope that has your room key. The halls on these ships can be very long. And here I opened up the envelope with my room key and entered the room. This was the first time I'd ever set foot into a cabin on a cruise ship, so it was quite an experience for me. Here we go, as I amble nimbly into the room. Note this is filmed in shaky cam.
Let's see, the mirror works. Let's see, gotta have a kettle for the coffee. Fair enough. Let's see, some goodies. There'll be a map in there. Let's see, stateroom and dining. Here we go. Kind of reminds me of the 60s and 70s hotels with the little pad. Couch for when I'm entertaining. Coffee table for the coffee I'll never put on it. Let's see, swing to the bathroom. Kind of reminds me of my trips on Amtrak, but I get it. On a ship, you gotta keep that space to a premium. And I do like the shower. They got the little ridge there, so that'll work. And got our stuff. Bath and shower gel. Let's see. Shampoo. I don't need a whole lot of that. I'll use a little bit. Got our towels. And some reading. Body lotion. There we go. And liquid soap. Cool deal. All right. I can see this. Cozy. It's cozy more than anything else. Isn't that cozy? There we go. So, I don't know what that button does. Hopefully it doesn't do anything too drastic. And let's see how all this works. What is important to note is that they're using, looks like an American socket, which comes out well. Although I have a transformer just, there we go. There's the an English socket. So, always want to be prepared for those types of things. Okay, let's go.
No, I did not have a coffee machine in the room. Haha. And this was a picture I took. My first cruise on Cunard was an overwhelming success, but I stayed in Britannia. I did not stay in the Queen or Princess Grills. Now on to the Queen Elizabeth. And here you see your traveling hatter in the atrium. Once again, you go to your room and there's the envelope with your room key.
Here we go, 6093 is my cabin. Let's take a look. Here's the first fun thing. You have to put this card into here or the lights will go out. Nobody tells you that. Learned it the hard way. You're welcome. Here are the switches that turn off some of the lights, but not all of the lights. Here's a chair in case you feel the sudden need to sit. Some hooks. Looks kind of scary. As you can see, I got an accessible bathroom, so it's nice and spacious, which is not a problem. See what's interesting in the design is since it's accessible, the floor is level, so a wheelchair can get in there, and that's fine. A little spot to sit. So plenty of handlebars, which I like. Look forward to it. Nice shelves and stuff for your extra goodies. And then a very heavy door. This door is very heavy. Here's the room, a little table, as you can see I've already put to use. Another chair in case two people come over that want to sit. You got some shelves, no Gideons. I joke about that on a cruise ship, but that'd be a lot of Gideons. Nice size bed. But what is interesting, you notice there are no outlets by the bed, which is kind of annoying. Here's my friend Captain Hudson, he's coming along. You had a third chair, so if three people come over and want to sit, you're good to go. The fourth, if you need to. But you have a desk with your coffee making materials and some water, some cookies, which are delicious. Daily program, which you've got to have. Here are some actual sockets that they finally put in. And the TV is going through the muster process, which I'll be going to muster station B right after this. And then you got nice shelves. And I love to get slippers, house robe, plenty of shelving space, a safe, which I will be putting my passport in. Hopefully I won't need these life preservers, but you never know. And then last but certainly not least, you got one more spot for hanging things. I'm gonna hang up my coat, it's a couple shirts, and then we should get good to go. But it's a nice spacious room. Gotta give Cunard credit. Nice room.
Please note, after the refurbishment, the Queen Elizabeth switched to tap keys instead of insert keys for room keys. The next ship is the venerable Queen Mary II. I stayed on the 13th floor in a room that was somewhat tucked away. I was in 13.021, which at first could not find, but then I had to go down this little side hall, and then I could find my room, 13021. I was amazed that they had a 13th floor, but there you are, that they have a 13th floor on the Queen Mary. However, I forgot to film the room, so I can't show you what the new room looks like. However, the new rooms on the Queen Mary look just like the rooms on the Queen Anne, which I went on the very next day.
Here we go. Here's my room, 4210. Here's my key, which I had to go get printed. And here are the tickets to my excursions. I've already opened it, so that's why the envelope looks a little beat up. Now, what we do is all you have to do is just place it close and it opens, kind of like hotels. Now here's the fun part. You have to do this. See, it's dark. It will stay dark until you put Mr. Key in and turn the lights on. So that's something different. So here's the door. I like this little feature, real cute. You can, see who's out there. All right. Closet. You can see it's got some space into it. I already put my coat and suitcase into it to get started. Nice shelf space. More nice shelf space. Your life preservers, they will also give them to you at your station. Good space. Safe. I already got my wallet and passport in there. Let's see. Let's take a look. Here is bathroom. Caution, raised threshold. In other words, don't trip. What is neat about the Anne that so many people love is that we have glass doors. All right. Now what's interesting, this door does not want to open out. And if you look at the Mary, I show you the door and it just wanted to open in and it could open out. Here it's just open in. That's what I'm seeing so far. And this is interesting. This is much lower. And notice the clothesline does something odd like this. So it just goes into the corner. That's fine, however you want to do it. You do you. And here's the rest of the sink. It looks pretty much like the one I had on the Mary, because the 13th floor was added, so it looks very Anne-esque, so to speak. And you got the good stuff here that they like to use, so no problems there. Nice size bathroom for one person. And then here's the room screen. Interesting, it's not onto the muster station. I've already been to the muster station. You have the bed. They always do this Cunard cover when you first get to the ship. Desk, and the bottle of wine is out. They usually leave it on the inside, but there's the fridge. It's not stocked like a hotel, but there you go. And you got your kettle, if that's what you want to do. Although this ship is knee deep in coffee. Map, postcard. I'm going to date myself, but this kind of reminds me of the old Holiday Inns. I remember getting cards way back in the day. And a card here with the name of our steward, good guy. Man's been on top of it. Kind of the contemporary art to fit with the theme of the ship. I so far am not sure. I don't know how this gold is going to look in 10 years. If it's going to look tacky or if it's going to look vintage. I don't know. Here is the desk. These drawers are on the small side. Phone that I'll never use. Let's see. All right, some lights. And we have that's an English outlet, American, USB A and C. And what's really nice on the Elizabeth and the Victoria did not have these. I did on the Mary because I was in the 13 level floor, which was recently added. But these are new. And that controls those switches, which is interesting. This does nothing, apparently. I'll probably figure it out later. But you do have sockets by the bed, which are a nice touch. And this is, like I said, this is the opening bed you see for Cunard cabin. So here's what the cabin looks like from the back corner. For a single traveler, this is not bad. This will probably look kind of small in the video, but I like it. It's just enough space. I don't plan to be here a lot. Good room, good storage space. The trick is, as you can see, it's inside. So the trouble is, you're never really aware of what time of day it is. So you have to watch out for that. But there you are. This is room 4210 on the Queen Anne. And we will explore some more. So, talk at you later. Quick add-on here. This is the please make it my stateroom notifier. You can see it's just magnetic. And what you do, you just stick it on the door as such. I think that's really kind of cool. Just wanted to show you that. But please make it my stateroom. There we go.
And lastly, my most favorite cruise ship, the Queen Mary II. As I've achieved platinum status with Cunard, their second highest level, 7 cruises or 70 nights. I get a bottle of Prosecco with my room. Captain Hudson is not included. A description of him is included down in the description of this video. Let's take a look at the room now on the Queen Mary II. Look down the hall. Either way, the distinctive Queen Mary carpet. You'll see that the Queen Mary II still uses the old insert card mechanism for the door. I believe that is the last ship that uses that. There's the magnetic clean up my room. There's the door switches. It does not have the card that you have to put in to enable the lights, as we've seen on some other ships, which is interesting. Plenty of closet space. You can see I already put my suitcase in there. Here's more storage space, hangers, slippers, some space up top. Actually, a lot of space for an inside cabin. Here it gets interesting. Here is the safe, which I always put everything in. Your life jackets, know where they are. The kettle that I never use, although they do put cookies on there, so cookies are good. A little more storage space, several drawers. One thing I liked about the room was plenty of drawer space. That piece of paper was for if you want to have laundry done. I would recommend against it, as it's expensive. You can use the laundromat on board for free. It's just competitive to get into. A hair dryer I will never use. There is the TV is on. It is talking about going to the muster station. Here's the fridge. They will charge you for everything in there. They charged me even though I never drank anything in the fridge, so watch out uh, for that because they charged me. There's the daily schedule, the menu catalog of cruises. Anything on that table that you can drink, they will charge you for. I tend not to use it because I just don't like getting nickel and dimed, so I never drank any of these items and just went up to the King's Court or whatever it's called on that ship for food. Here's the table. I do get this for being platinum. There's a chair just in case I want to sit down. Here's a nice table. There are switches for lights and drawers, but you will notice again there are no power sockets at the bedside. The only time we've ever seen them is on the end. However, they do have good light switches to turn off the lights in the room from lying in the bed. You just cannot turn off the lamp next to you. You have to physically lean over and turn off the lamp. It's kind of annoying. But as you can see, plenty of space, plenty of light, plenty of drawer space to store everything. I had no problems with storing things. And you can turn the lights on and off from the bed except for the lamp next to you. And then that Cunard blanket comes off and then it comes back on the first day. Ta-da! And just one look around. As you can see, this is quite roomy. And then watch your step. Here is the bathroom with the light switch on the outside because you want the room illuminated when you enter. Again, this is the Queen Mary, so it has a shower curtain, not a glass door. The only time I saw a glass door in the inside cabin was on the Anne and on the 13th floor of the Queen Mary too. But you have your bin, you have your soaps, you have your shampoo, you have your basic toiletries there for you. Plenty of towels, washcloths, cotton balls, just in case. There is your soap and shampoo and body lotion. And I put the soap in the shower. The shower has a removable handle, which I like. Does not have the overhead shower head. It has a line that you can pull out to hang clothes on to dry, which I always use. And there you go. It's kind of small, but it works out well. It's very efficiently designed. And a mirror. Just make sure you look good when you go out to eat at the Britannia or wherever you like to dine. One last look in the closets. Again, plenty of closet space. I was quite impressed for an inside cabin. And as a solo traveler, this is plenty of space. I'm confident that two people could travel in this room comfortably and be able to store everything away. Because as you can see, there's even more storage space above the bed. But here's the room. Take a good look around. I think it has plenty of space, and I think you would have no problem staying in it. I was in this room for a month, which was quite a long time, but I enjoyed it. Lastly, here's a picture of me lying on bed looking at the television screen. There is a channel that is the camera pointing out from the bow of the ship. You can use this channel to simulate sunlight as you have no windows in these rooms. At night, it'll be completely dark, and in the day, it will light up with the sunlight. You just leave the television on, leave it on that channel, and it's like having a window. I use this and it worked great for me. This is a travel hack. You're welcome.